welcome back to Point Blank with some pretty sloppily dressed presenters. But we have a reason, because before the break we were razor rating some of the choices of attire by undergrads. You know, not much left to be desired. Well, before we continue, we have, if you just join us, we have an image consultant, Cecellia, and we have a stylist, Bernard, to help us scrutinize Singaporeans. Before we continue, yes, let's look at some web comments. The web comments are rolling here. Let's start with James.
James says, slippers are for the market. Even then, your feet can get wet and dirty. So why wear flip-flops unless you're going to the beach? I agree with the stylist.
Bernard, you've got a fan, huh? And Jawbreaker says, I do not understand how they walk without slippers. The roads are hot. Good point. Even if your purpose is to air your smelly feet, I think you get blisters and it really hurt. I'm sure University of Hawaii students go to class dressed like going to the beach, especially if school is just next door to the beach, yeah?
And Masba says, there are so many great shoes out there. The students need to put some decent footwear on. I know they will claim they don't have enough money, but it's not about how much you spend, it's about dressing properly.
Bernard, I'm sure you have something to say about that, yeah?
Yeah. In fact, there are quite a number of affordable like footwear, like for example like Charles & Keith, Bitterbugs, Pretty Fit. They have very nice, trendy shoes which are so affordable. I mean, even for like college students, I mean, they can just choose from there. Like Converse is even more affordable. So I thought they should shop.
And I think it's very fast free as well. I go in, I pick one, and I go.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't have to take a long time to pick and choose and all.
So Cecellia, for footwear, it's not really about the brands or how expensive the pair of shoes is, right?
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it could be a pair of Jimmy Choos and cost 3,000, but if it's still a flip-flop,
it's still
a flip-flop. If it's got rhinestones and it's, you know, it's singing and it's $50,000, you know, it's not appropriate for school. So, so it's not about the money, it's not about the brand, it's about appropriateness.
Okay, let's apply everything that we are saying to contestant number 1. Let's take a look at Sloppy Joe number 1.
Is that appropriate? What do you think? Let's bring out our cards.
Okay, we're going to rate them together, okay?
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, go!
Ding, ding.
Wow, you've done really 4.
Yeah, I'm a 4.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to explain yourself.
Yes.
Well,
we've converted her, it looks like, yes?
are you a 2? Yeah, can I change?
No. We will not succumb to peer pressure here.
That's
We'll reason why we think the way we do.
Okay, I give a 4 because basically comfort is number 1 for me, and they look comfortable in that. So, I mean, for me, the motto in life is really actually be happy. I mean, with whatever you dress in. Yeah. So if you're happy and they look happy, yeah, you're up for fashion sense. Number 4.
In fact, I agree with you for the comfort in what they're wearing. But again, this is college, so you must. I find that
respect the professors, respect your other students.
And in the process of growing up, you need to like dress more appropriate for whatever occasion. Like, and from college you can learn to dress like for your future career, like wearing a shirt and pants for interview, for example. Yeah, and I find that in our local Singaporean, they will always dress like that, and all the way will be like that.
Okay.
So they learn some pretty bad habits and stick with them.
Yeah, stick with them for long. And in fact, compared to like Japan and Hong Kong, even a club wear a suit, a pants and with tie to work. And look at local Singaporean. It's like they just...
Okay, but a clerk wearing a suit, is that appropriate? Is that overdress, you think?
Not really, because in fact you can have a blazer without a tie, those kind. Yeah, you don't have to put on a tie with a really a formal jacket. Like a blazer and a casual pants, then you can
good to go.
Yeah, it's good to go. So I find Singaporeans need to learn from
our counterparts elsewhere.
I mean, it's okay to dress for comfort. I mean, they were in shorts and t-shirts, but you know, they could have picked better shorts
Okay.
and better t-shirts.
What's
and
the
better
better
shoes,
shorts?
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the shorts were like, they were pretty baggy, and generally it was just kind of like, you know,
Hanging.
yeah, it's just kind of, yeah. So you
Okay.
can still look decent. I mean, get some, you know, at least decent. I mean, I think a polo shirt is fine.
Okay.
A t-shirt might be a little bit too casual for university, but then at the end of the day, okay, university. So if you want to wear a t-shirt, then maybe pair it with a pair of jeans or something, so that, you know, it's a little bit, it shows that you're doing something a little bit more respectful than just lounging around at home with your friends, or you know what I mean? Or going to kopitiam and having some yakun kaya toast and thing. So, you know, you want to differentiate something. Something that's totally casual when you're sitting around hanging with your friends. That's what you dress in. And when you go to college, it's like, you know, I mean, the colleges here are some of the top ones in Asia. So it's a little bit of respect just to be, you know, dressed maybe a little bit smarter.
Okay.
Yeah, but not in suits, not in shirts.
Just
or
a
anything.
little bit
Just-
smarter.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just a little bit more thinking behind.
Okay. So the guide is really a polo shirt and jeans,
or
a pair of
even
jeans.
A jeans,
Yeah.
or even if they want to wear shorts, but a nicer looking tailored shorts, not like, you know, one that you can stuff a kitchen sink in. You know what I mean? They've got huge
dear.
pockets, and then it's like
Yeah.
everything goes in, and then suddenly they've gained 50 kilos just from, you know, adding on.
Swimming in it.
Yeah.
Okay, my thing
Yeah.
with the two,
Why?
Yeah.
it's because, not really because they were just simply wearing Bermudas or that they were flouting school rules. Okay, it's nothing to do with that. The fact that being put together means not just, you know, not wearing Bermudas and slippers. Some of them went with unironed shirts,
Yes.
creased pants, and for me that is a case of sloppiness. Yeah, it's not just I don't mind people wearing Bermudas and all that. I mean, they are nicely cut like pedal pushers that people could wear, or you know, not saying that they should wear hot pants to school or anything like that, but the fact that, you know, being well put together is, for me, you know, being neat as well. And just now what we saw for Sloppy Joe #1 wasn't really the emblem of neatness. Yeah, so that explains the two for me.
Okay, but I have to speak up for them. They're
Yeah.
probably staying in hall, and we just don't bother about
Good
pressing
point.
our clothes
Good
when we come to
point.
school.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Well, good point. I don't know about being in uni in Singapore. I was in, as I said, I was in Australia, so it was cold 3 seasons of the year. So even if I wanted to wear shorts, I couldn't.
Okay.
I probably would have really wanted to wear shorts, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
So don't you kind of freeze yourself?
Yeah, that's right. Well, we've looked at graduate #1, undergraduate #1. We have to move on to #2. Let's see how he looks like.
Here comes the buddies in Bermudas. Comfortable? Definitely. Visual comfort?
Okay,
Saw
okay.
you, huh? I'm like,
Okay.
So,
okay.
how should we rate this?
1, 2, 3 again.
Okay, lah. Okay, you call the shots.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
1, 2, 3 lah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Who's a 1? Oh,
1. Okay.
What are
Okay.
you? A 2. Okay.
I'm 2. Okay, Bernard is really letting it all out
Yes.
now. Just tell us. Tell us already.
I find that the guy with the Bermuda is so flare. You look like a skirt to me. A culottes. Yeah, in a short version. Culottes. And with the flip flop and everything is really, really so unpresentable.
Okay.
It really is unpresentable. Okay.
You were a 2, were you?
Yeah. I just thought that I had the same irk with that pair of shorts. He looked like he just got out of bed. He looked like a pair of sweatpants cut at the knees, you know? So, yeah, you still wear shorts, but, you know, at least semi-decent. Semi-decent. And like you say, clean iron, and that's all it takes sometimes.
Okay.
There's no excuse being in the hall. No.
She has to that comment. People, you have like plugs in the wall for
Exactly.
irons.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
come
hall
on.
living is not exactly easy. I would. You'd like to share with us your experience about living in halls without irons and.
Actually, we do have irons.
The
there you
truth
go.
cometh.
But it's like very far away. It's like right at the end of the level, so nobody bothers. And 3 for comfort because they look comfortable once again. So I fight for you guys.
Okay. Everyone's entitled to their views, right? Okay. Well, I'm number 2 for the same reason. I think that guy with the the flowy pants. Really
Yeah, I think he was really pushing it.
Fluidity.
Yeah.
Pants. No, it's just that I feel that those are basketball shorts.
Yeah,
that we worn for basketball.
I think if you're Michael Jordan, you will look really good in it.
Yeah,
But
because
other than
they were talking about being appropriate
yeah,
here, right?
exactly. You know, if you're on a basketball court, then fine.
Exactly.
Fair
Unless we're
enough.
talking about people who are in NIE teaching PE.
That's right.
Learning to be PE teachers, they can wear that way. I mean, they wear their shirts and even shorts to school because that's their job description,
Yeah.
right? So I guess appropriateness is what we are talking about here.
And actually, I was a basketball player.
Oh.
But I'm not going to speak up for them because I don't wear basketball shorts to school because it just looks very ugly.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any comments?
Yes. Yes.
Do we?
Yes, lots. Okay. Oh, wait. Let's look at iPod Touch Me a bit lower. Because he's talking about Bernard. I like the male guest hair. Nice.
Thank
Let's
you.
show on the necktie.
It's from Celine.
The necktie is up for interpretation, okay? That's style. He's a stylist, so style. Okay, Jawbreaker says, they're going to school. What's so comfortable about that? If you want to be comfortable, stay at home. Slightly higher up, actually.
That's how they're dressed.
Yeah, that's how they're dressed. They're dressed to stay at home. Please, that sort of comfortable dressing is inappropriate to wear out. Yeah, I kind of dress like that at home, actually. Or to the garden downstairs. Little kid. Long comment. I shall read it out.
Okay.
I would think this is all about social acceptance. Consider that social acceptance is a constantly evolving factor from the Victorian era till now. What is considered socially acceptable has already changed drastically. It's interesting to see how the norm fashion has changed over time. My guess is that we find as improper now may perhaps not be improper in the future. Similarly, if we put anyone from the current world in the Victorian era, he or she would also be improper. Yes, he or she, especially if Singaporean, would be. My take on this issue is that just as we should adapt to the social acceptance, the world also needs leapers leapers that change the world's social direction. In the fashion sense, think of how the world got out of the Victorian era. Okay, so let's just. I think little kid brought up a very important point that I was about to bring up. The idea of relativity, of being relative to cultural norms or social norms. Okay, we're talking about social norms here. So, do you think this is just an issue of social norms or slack attitude?
Probably a bit of both. I mean, I'm sure it's it takes a long time. It has to be done one person at a time, and not everyone makes the extra effort. It's so easy to just grab something from the floor, put it on, and walk out. But, especially now, perception and first impression is so important. It's all done within, 2 to 30 seconds.
Exactly.
So, if you think about school as well, if you walk into school, you don't see the professors, the lecturers coming in T-shirts and shorts. They at least make it a point to wear, shirts, long-sleeve shirts. And I've seen a lot of professors and lecturers in school that actually go in dressed in suits. So if they make the effort,
why shouldn't you?
Why shouldn't the students? You walk in, that means you have you don't show any respect, or you really don't care. I mean, yeah, understandably, college days is fun and all that, but I think slippers and the basketball shorts that we see, I think that's kind of like pushing it a little bit. I mean, this is kind of like not leaping into the future; it's more like leaping onto a different planet.
And you did say just now that number 1 stands for...
Yeah, number 1 stands for we'll find another planet.
You are an alien. Get out here.
Yeah.
Get oxygen, and maybe we'll join you like in a few hundred years' time.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have to move on. We have seen the
given
guys.
the guys enough
Yeah.
the basketball shorts already. We'll
So
move on to the girls.
Yeah.
Let's see whether they fare any better. Here's our first girl.
Oh, look at those cutesy checkered shorts. I wonder how good it feels sleeping in those.
Okay.
Okay.
I shall not influence any score in here. Okay.
Let's go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1,
okay.
2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. What's that?
I like dissension.
Okay.
Okay, we need to explain all our scores. Okay, let's just start with Bernard because you again.
I give him give her a 1. Okay, okay. Checks are in for this season. Okay. They are in.
Speaks.
But for a tiny shot like that, it's really unpresentable with the t-shirt. You see. So in fact, if she wears something like a nicer top with a nicer pair of
It could have
shoes,
gone.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I thought it's a 1.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Okay, what did you give?
I gave her a 2.
A 2, yeah.
Only because the extra point that moved her up from 1 was because it was color coordinated. So I thought, she exactly. Yes. So again, could have been better. If she had put on a fitted, maybe a simple knit top, or a fitted top, would have gone with the shorts better than just a t-shirt. She looked like she just got out of bed.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you?
And that's my reason too, because she does look like she just got out of bed. That pair of shorts looks like, you'll be very comfortable sleeping in those. And Mothership asked me, what about comfort?
You were such an advocate for comfort just now. Yeah.
Okay, it's comfortable definitely, but it doesn't look nice. Yeah, my point is, it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look coordinated at all.
I think everything is about relativity, and because I kept giving 2s just now,
So now you
I have to move on to 3s. It's about relativity, because I think those shorts did way better than the shiny basketball shorts we saw just now.
You think so?
I mean, there's no lines, no fluid lines there. I mean, the thing is, she looks slightly more put together than the other boys we saw just now. Yeah, she didn't look as sloppy, because even though she was wearing a t-shirt, it wasn't like baggy and hanging loose. It was actually quite snugly fit and not too tight. And her shorts weren't just creased and I don't know, home shorts that you wear, PE shorts, but they were actual checkered shorts. So
Going
3
out
for
shorts.
me. Yeah. So the last person, to go under the Razor wardrobe microscope. Take a look.
What? It's 8 o'clock. I am so late for school. Well, I guess I can just go to school in this, can't I?
How about that?
Okay.
Let me
I'm
think.
thinking. All right. Are we ready? Are you ready?
Okay. Okay.
I have too many 1.
But let's say if only I had a 0.5. Okay. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
It's so predictable now.
Oh no! You sure? It's straight. Okay.
Okay, for the girl at the far end with the hairband, I thought I like the colors hoodie jacket. I thought quite colorful, and I thought of the other girl with a polo tee with a skirt. I thought that can be quite presentable. At least that's the minimum that you can for a girl can wear to a campus. Yeah.
Okay, that's
like
it. Okay, you're talking about that girl in the black polo tee. Yeah. I was looking at her too. So, Cecellia, you gave
I had a 2 as well.
2, same as Shi Ting?
Yeah, a 2.
Okay, same as me.
Yeah, I was just looking at that girl in the black polo. It looked like it was a free T-shirt from somewhere, but maybe she could have been going to an association meeting. I don't know, but at least, like you say, it's not short. So 1 point for like the top and another point for the bottom.
One for each for being dressed.
Yeah, for being dressed. Yeah.
Then how about you? What made it 2 for you?
Because it's not nice. Once again, it doesn't look pretty enough for me.
Okay. I must have a thing about baggy clothes. Like it's not that it has to be slim fit or anything, but it looked, again, it was one of those, flowy
It was
things.
a shapeless, like, you get it for free, so you can't choose the size.
Similar to the basketball, shiny basketball shorts.
I find this lot, they are more presentable.
better.
You think so?
Than
Because it had collars, is it?
Yeah,
Is it because they had collars?
maybe, and the hoodie jackets, and they have some colors, and polo tee with skirt.
The rest of the girls were pretty okay, I think. The one in front was just a little bit too... It was black and the, mustardy color thing just didn't do her any justice. I think it's probably what your point is.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've got to look at some web comments that have come up. It seems like people are quite up in arms over campus dressing. Yes, James says that shorts and t-shirt look is not for public viewing lah. We wear it when you are slouching around at home. It's quite ugly to see people dressed like that in public. Looks like they don't give a hoot about their image or appearance. That's the impression they will give people who see them.
And iPod Touch Me says, shirts and bumps are hot. With shoes though, please.
And Singapore KPO has got something to prove. You see, NTU again. For sloppy people.
Oh dear.
Let's guess which university Singapore KPO went to. Okay.
And she say, oi, Mothership, enough of sloppy dresses already. Let's see some great campus fashion. They are out there. Maybe we'll catch some later in the show.
Okay, let's look at Masba. In response to you, living on campus is a poor excuse for dressing like slop. I never dressed like this when I was in school. In fact, when I studied in Australia, all the Singaporeans and overseas students were very well dressed compared to the local Aussie students. They were shoeless or in flip-flops and board shorts, and they looked like crap. We used to at them, in fact. And someone's asking you, Bernard, is your hair counted as presentable?
That is my own style. From far, people can look at me, can recognize who am I. From far, from back, from front.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. I like to talk about living on campus because it's true. I didn't notice that a lot of the Asians in Australia actually made the effort
dress.
to
Actually,
dress. Maybe it's an issue of cultural norms, social norms. Yeah.
But don't you think, I mean, like we had a lot of interns when I was working in Australia. We used to get a lot of interns, what we call work experience, from universities. And they will always be very well dressed coming to work. So you never ever see that campus shoddiness or sloppiness, transfer onto the working life. I think that's the difference. If you want to be sloppy and all that in campus, then make sure that it's not a habit that you bring on to your working life. Because, it's going to be,
Hopefully they don't. Actually, it's sort of like peer pressure. Everybody wears like that, so I'm going to wear like that. Why do I bother about dressing up at all?
That's a good point. If you dress too well, you'll be seen as the fashion parade, or if you dress too, I don't know, conservatively or whatever, you'll be the geek who dresses well while everybody is hanging loose.
But you don't have to dress too well. But just moderate and presentable, and maybe peer pressure again. You can influence your peer that how importantly that you need to dress for appropriate occasion. So
That's true. Well, let's hear the students speak for themselves. Let's have a look at what these students from these three universities have to say about their own dressing. Why do they dress like that? Let's find out.
NTU generally is quite relaxed. Okay. Yeah, comfort is number one.
Do you think they are too sloppily dressed for school?
Not really lah. Cause sometimes I dress that way too, and it's like you're really so stressed already, so you need to be comfortable. Yeah, maybe like SMU, cause it's nearer to town and everything. Yeah, probably they do go to those places after school, so probably they want to look better. But for us, NTU are located at such a ulu area, so I guess it does count. Yeah.
Normally for our school, it's the Nanyang Business School people that dress up more nicely lah. Whereas the other school will be not really not nice lah, but maybe more casual lor. It's their course. The basis of their course is to make yourself presentable. Maybe not too sloppy like wear FBT shorts and just a shirt or like anyhow random wear. Then it may be disrespectful. But if you are not, you don't have to be too overly dressed just to go for lectures lah.
What do you think of the dress sense of NUS students?
I think the dress sense of NUS students are average and the usual I guess. It's not like attractive or anyway, but I think everyone looks like fine, like pretty much presentable.
How do you think NUS students compare to students from NTU or SMU?
Okay, the first impression I get of SMU is that the females are more well dressed, and I think because of that, I think the SMU people are like generally more like better dressed compared to NUS or NTU. But I feel that NUS should have a better standard than NTU. Yeah.
Why is that so?
Impression. Yeah, I guess because like NTU has more foreign students around, so it's different. Yeah.
So for
foreign students tend not to dress up?
There's some people who go to school like they're going clubbing though. Yeah.
Why is that so?
I know they, can quite revealing. Generally people do like take pride in how they dress, but I think mostly those who are sloppily dressed is those from the halls. Rank between SMU, NTU, and NUS. I think NUS second, SMU a bit the first.
Yeah. What's wrong with NTU?
NTU, I don't know. I don't usually go there.
What do you think of your dressing today?
Actually, because I'm going for work later on, so I have to dress up to school.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter to me because I think a lot of people dress up to school as well.
Students from SMU dress like that?
Not usually, but I think most of the time maybe on Fridays.
How do you think you compare to the other students from other universities, for example NTU and NUS?
I think a lot of NUS, NTU people, they stay at hostel. Yeah, so they don't really, I think my perspective is that they don't really care about how they dress because the place that they stay is so near to the lectures and all that.
The yellow top and the shorts inside to like make it more secure. Yeah.
It looks really short. Do you feel uncomfortable?
Because I got shorts inside, so it's cool. To be myself, just comfortable and casual and be a schoolgirl. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Wow, so that's sort of a shirt dress we see there. I see Cecellia has something to say about that. Yeah.
It's a little bit inappropriate. I mean, come on, you walk into class and, the male students will be like, whoop. So maybe it looked good, but she could have done well even with like a pair of capris. She had a body to carry it off.
Even the skinny jeans?
Yes. Yeah. Then she would have looked stylish. And it's her own style. She could carry it off. You could see, she looks after herself. Made up face. Her hair was done pretty nicely. The shirt fitted her well, and the color even went, was quite good for her. So, instead of bearing all the flash, she could have been like really classy, stylish, with like, skinny jeans or capris, and those are classic.
Yeah. Being dressed so skimpily sometimes, I'm not saying that she was skimpy, but we know that there are the fashion paraders around. Okay, all right. Revealing and all that. Sometimes it's distracting for male students, other students, girl
even
students.
Female students.
Yeah, and the lecturers as well.
Yes.
Okay, which is why rules exist, okay? RazorTV also asked the school what they thought about the way their students dressed, and here's what they had to say. Let's take a look. First of all,
NTU says, in general, the university's admissions handbook advises students to maintain the good image of the university. You are reminded that you must be properly attired in a manner befitting the status of university students when you are on campus. And you are not allowed to wear the following attire and footwear: sleeveless t-shirts, singlets, shorts, attire printed with offensive or obscene wordings, revealing attire or miniskirts, slippers and sandals without heel straps.
Yes, let's move on to the second university, NUS. NUS says there are guidelines to encourage our students to dress appropriately while on campus. These guidelines are part of the university's Code of Student Conduct and serve as a reminder to students that by dressing well, they will be able to make a positive impression on others.
And SMU says they do not impose a strict dress code on its students because they treat them as mature young adults, and we grant them freedom in choice of dressing. As sensible thinking adults, we expect them to observe decorum in what they wear to classes. Professors and university counselors will counsel students who come in indecent attire, which is disrespectful to others.
We see quite a different treatment across the universities. Some who to the T, pointing out what you should and should not wear, and some which leave it to the discretion of students. Do you think rules are necessary? Rules like these are necessary for discipline?
I find that they are quite necessary, but I find that NTU, they broke all the rules.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. They have all these rules, but we break all these rules. But for SMU, they say, I give you the freedom to do it, and they dress nice to school.
Well, not all. We did see that.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think, guidelines, definitely. You must have some guidelines. That's what makes, a society you know, manage or flow properly. So, but yeah, I mean, students also need to take into account, you know, their university branding as well. So if they want the university to be, you know,
to do well.
Looked well, and to be perceived well, which also works for them, because then when they hand people the resume and it says da university and it's perceived well, it works in their favor. So it's a win-win situation.
Well, we have all had fun on Point Blank checking out the school attire of undergraduates, and we hope you had fun too. So thank you, Cecellia and Bernard, for giving us your expert views.
But that's all the time we have for you tonight. But before we go, here's the Razorism of the day. Oh, never mind the fashion. When one has a style of one's own, it is always 20 times better. And that's by Scottish novelist and historical writer Margaret Oliphant.
Yes, join us again tomorrow, same time, same place on Point Blank. But don't go away, because news is up next with Razor's Top 5. See you.
Bye.